derivatives are funny things. If you look in an article, I will link next to this video, you will see that there's $426 trillion of derivatives out there at the moment, while the global GDP, according to Wikipedia, is about $70 trillion. That means that the output of the world has been leveraged or has been sold 6 years into the future already. And of course we are looking at a downturn of the economy, which can be quite serious. It makes no sense that output will be achieved, even if it's only based on that output. Most of the derivatives are based on bets, on kind of insurance policies, where the counterparty doesn't really have the reserves or the money to pay out the bets when it happens. That's one of the reasons for the big crash last year, and the bailout money went to banks that had to pay these contracts to counterparties that were really very strong in their opinion that they would receive that money on their bets. They didn't keep the reserve, they didn't put the money aside, and they had to get bailed out. Now China is saying, okay, we don't like these derivatives anymore. The guy that managed the sovereign wealth fund once said that he explained it to the Chinese people that he was talking to by saying it's just a bunch of mirrors, and you can use 5 mirrors to see something 5 times, but if it's only there one time, and if you take it away it's gone, and all these mirrors are worthless. And that's exactly what China now kind of gave some consequence to. It says, okay, we will not honor the derivatives contract, we will not make new derivatives contracts. So if you expect us to pay on a contract, you're just shit out of luck. And that has the most influence on 5 major banks in the US, which manage about 94 or 96% of all derivatives that are floating around in the world. So it has a huge impact on the US economy. But it's a strange thing, because right now this has already happened. China has said it. Beijing has confirmed this position. Basically the US banks, if they are in dealings with China, which are, I guess they all are, they have holes in their books, because numbers that are there are just have to be turned into zeros. But they were already insolvent, so you can really not expect them to pay out on any of these derivatives that they have. They can only shovel money as long as possible and maybe give you other derivatives in return. That means that if I'm an owner of a large bunch of derivatives, whether they be mortgage-based bonds or whatever, or insurance, the credit default swaps, or futures of one thing or another, I'd really doubt if my paper is worth anything now. I really doubt if there's any use of it, and I would try to get rid of it. And if all countries, and all companies, and all banks are suddenly going ahead and trying to get rid of their derivatives, if they don't need them on their books, they get rid of them. That will create a huge storm. And in that storm, as most currencies or a lot of money will disappear out of the real economy, and that will create a new problem. So to avoid that, I think it's smart to be ahead of this curve, to either call force majeure on derivatives, which is bad luck for everybody with a contract, but it keeps the real economy intact because it doesn't suck money out of it, or do something else. But I think it's a dangerous situation that China has created, a dangerous precedent.